Happy Monday. Welcome back to the RAD podcast. Happy to be here this Monday. Happy to do this episode too. I
Man,
am one.
facts.
I'm one half of this dynamic duo, Larry Jefferson, straight out of Dallas, Texas.
And I'm the second half of this dynamic duo, Dantrayl Smith, straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. Man, I am like super hyped about this episode. I told y'all we were going to do it. I told you it's going to happen, and yeah. We're gonna do it. But hey, bro, check this out. So I was going back and doing, I love stats, right? So like numbers. So this technically, since we've changed names, this is episode 32. So we've done 32 episodes currently under the name Rad Podcast. In terms of actual published episodes on like Apple Music, Spotify, all those places, we published 25 episodes. But get this,
What?
in terms of total episodes that we've done, including that other name that we can't name because of legal issues, we've actually done this will be number 55, episode number
Dang,
55, bro, today. So,
that's what's up. Look at
and
you.
then I did,
Congratulations, my brother.
you know what I'm saying, man? Hey, and then check this out. So then I went back and looked at who people, where people downloading our stuff from. We actually got some individuals downloading our podcast from Europe and Asia, bro.
Oh, dang.
Wow,
I'm,
that's
I'm
what's
have
up.
to wonder if they translating it over there and there. Or do I need to learn a different language or something?
It's universal.
Right, that's what's up. That's good to hear.
Yes, sir.
Well, without further ado, we have two of our great panelists today. We're going to allow them to introduce themselves. Goody, you want to start us off?
I feel like the doctor should go first.
No,
Okay, then, shoes.
No,
Dr.
go ahead,
Sanchez,
Goody.
do you want to
Let
start
Goody
us
go.
off?
Goody.
My screen kind of goes like this.
Okay, well, I'll go first because doctor said I can go first. So I'm going to go first. So my name is Goody. I'm going to just introduce the way I introduce myself all the time. My name is Goody Howard, MSW, MPH. My pronouns are she, her, and boss. And I don't code switch and I cuss a little bit. I am your favorite sex educator's favorite sex educator. I specialize in pleasure development, professional development, and pleasure professional development.
Thank you. I love it. Yeah, Goody. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jessica Sanchez. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I absolutely am 100% chingona. And with Goody as well, we'll definitely thank you for creating the space and the affirmations with the cussing for sure. I'm sure we'll come out a little bit. But no, I definitely clinical sexologist here, so facilitating sex therapy with clients right now, specifically with women of color who have experienced sexual trauma. Any form of sexual violence, essentially. And so that is really my area that I focus on, and definitely just empowering specifically women of color to own their sexuality and with the ways that feels best for them. So excited to be here, y'all. Let's get this going.
Glad to have you.
All right. So let's lay the foundation, right? Let's talk a little bit about what is your definition of sexual health and why do you think people are afraid to discuss, but they will log on to this podcast though, right? Right.
You said the definition of sexual health?
Yep. And why do you think people are afraid to discuss and talk about it?
I think, well, the definition of sexual health, I use the WHO definition, the World Health Organization definition, which I don't know off the top of my head verbatim, but it's really inclusive. And it talks about operating in spaces of sexual health without shame and stigma, with access to care and equity and like all these amazing things. I think that sexual health, I think sexual pleasure is sexual health and sexual health is public health. That's why I have a master's of public health, because that is sex ed. And I think sexual health is so taboo for folk because we are a very sexualized culture, but we're not a very sexually educated culture.
Ooh,
Like people
okay.
think squirt is pee.
Yeah.
People that don't have, even people that have vaginas, but people that don't have vulvas think that you put a tampon in your urethra.
Mhm.
Like it's wild out here. It's wild out here.
And goody, like we see those videos all the time, right? Like it'll be what I'm assuming a room full of folks that identify as men, and
Mhm.
it's like pin the clitoris where it's supposed to go on the vulva, and like
Mhm.
you see these men all the way off to the east and the west and the
Mhm.
south, and nowhere close to where it's on the vulva, and that just speaks to the lack of sex education.
What I hate is when I see women doing it.
That too, girl, or you're having and people don't even understand how many holes are in their vulva and what each hole the purpose. So yeah, absolutely. Yes. I know, I feel like I should have brought my whole like bookshelf closer to me.
Put out again. Good. I
Well,
didn't
this
see
is the
that.
other one that she was talking about. This is the clit.
Okay.
Yep.
This is the vulva. Okay.
And what's the
This
spot you
is how
talking
the
about?
clit. This is how the clit and vulva go together.
Okay.
That's the clit right there. So this is how it fits in the vulva. It's a whole organ by itself. People that have clits don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you should be fucking if you don't know the parts of the body that you have and the parts of the body that you're having sex with.
Right.
Listen, I feel that. Yeah, and I mean, echoing what Good said, I would come, definitely from that holistic model, right? Emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, when it all tied to our sexual health, right? Again, adding in their pleasure at the forefront. What is someone's even definition of sex? We are all on this call together. Everyone's going to have a completely different definition. I'll tell you that right now. Consent, right, is being practiced. So there's no coercion there. And I really emphasize free of all forms of violence, discrimination, racism, sexism, all of the isms. Add that on there. That's all tied, linked back to our sexual health. And why we don't talk about it. Absolutely, with the sexualization, the objectification piece of the society that we live in. But as a Latina, Mexican American woman, culturally, and I'm not speaking right for my entire culture, so let me put that out there as well, but my experience and my own doctoral research, right, and the conversations that I'm having in spaces with women of color, the one common denominator is that family essence and not no type of space to talk about it, the shame, the stigma around it. So I would add that in there too. That cultural component is huge.
Thanks.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Man, I got two.
It's your show. You absolutely can. It's your show. Do what you feel.
Why is it so taboo to talk about it? Why is it so like why are we so reluctant to educate each other about this? Yet we go around and like, oh, have babies, blah blah blah. But why not? Why is this not taught early?
I have a theory, but I want the doctor to go first on this one. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, goody, no. I mean, Larry, hearing you right away, the first script that came into my mind is I want to put it out like religion. Just the way religion has absolutely won by the colonizers and how that has impacted specifically communities of color. When I look at specifically my people of Mexico and I look way back, right, for my ancestors, we were walking around with body affirmations. We were absolutely practicing, right, a culture where body acceptance and sexuality was at the forefront, and fluidity of gender and sexual orientation was out there. And then religion came in and literally fucked everything up, and the colonizers fucked everything up. So that's where I feel like we can't talk about it, because the first script that I hear when specifically women of color are struggling with their sexuality and body, it's the religion piece. So I'm gonna add that, or I'm gonna keep that there, and goody when you turn.
No, I'm absolutely on board with all that. So listen, I feel like the ambient Christianity, specifically of westernized cultures, is laden with respectability politics and misogyny, and keep your head held high, your dress held down, and the people with penises are getting high fives and be a player and sow your royal oats and yada yada.
Right.
But the people you're supposed to be fucking, for the hetero folks, the people that you're fucking are supposed to be these these prim proper ladies of distinction. So who are you fucking? If everybody's a fucking lady,
right,
who are you having sex with? Right? And so it's like there's also a sacredness, right? There is a spiritual component of sexual exchange that I think is amplified by spirituality and religion, but also reserved for a certain people, reserved for married people, reserved for heterosexual people, which ain't even, that's a whole nother ballgame. Because even for Black folks, right, on the continent prior to colonization,
let's go.
Gender was expansive.
Mm-hmm.
Sexuality was expansive.
Yeah.
Orientation was expansive. If I liked you and you like me, we fucking. It don't matter if I'm a girl and you a girl, if I'm a boy and you a boy. Sex is sex. Love is love. Nobody wore pants, to be clear. Right. Okay? Wasn't no pants. All right? Men were home with the kids. Women were hunting and gathering. Depending on the culture, was matriarchal or patriarchal or egalitarian or however that looks. Then the colonizers get over there and they're like, oh my God, look at all these resources. We need this shit, but we can't take over what we can't understand. So hey, we got brown, beautiful brown people. We have some rules and some understandings for y'all. Either you're a boy or you're a girl.
Right.
Either you're gay or you're straight.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're a Christian or a savage. Now that you're in these boxes that we can understand, we got a boat ride for y'all. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People want to say, specifically Black people, specifically Southern Black people, specifically Christian Southern Black people, or ambiently Christian, because half of us ain't been to church but Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to say ambiently Christian because we're all churched. We all know that God is good.
All the time.
Uh-huh. So we know it. You know, y'all probably ain't been to church since church been to y'all, but you know it. Right? And so with that, this ambient Christianity, okay, oh, that's white people shit. That trans stuff, that gay stuff, that's white people shit. Actually, the white people came and tried to remove it from our cultures. And we're holding on to their shit by saying it's white people shit. We're holding on to what they indoctrinated us with. What I feel like is happening is a global awakening by the total diaspora. Back to what the understanding of pleasure can do and how it can be spiritually. I think the control of pleasure is something that is rooted in all of the violating of community standards, right? And so when I think of pleasure, first of all, the definition of pleasure does not include sex. We conflate that shit often. The definition of pleasure is experiencing excitement and joy, for one. But when I was doing my MPH program, I actually graduated by myself. I was the first person to get a Master's of Public Health from UT Arlington. I walked by myself in May 2020, so I was their guinea pig. And my entire project was about the absence, present, oppression, or repression of sexuality education in this country and how it's connected back to every social ill we have. I can connect the lack of sex ed back to school shootings if I wanted to. Okay, so I think that we have a lack of sex ed and a lack of comprehensive sexuality education around health because there comes a power with that. There comes an understanding with that.
There we're going. Let's
and
go.
It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. And so I feel like there is a global awakening happening in the diaspora of all, from the lightest of brown to the darkest of brown, of melanated folk, where we're coming back into that. And it looks different ways for different people. But I think that's why, ultimately, I think that's why we don't have this general understanding of what sexual health looks like. And after all my logic and my theory, I add a motherfucker so you ignorant niggas can
There we go.
I love it.
Man. Dr. Sanchez, you want to comment? And Larry, you want to go to the second question?
I mean, I love solidified.
Drop the mic.
There's no follow-up to that.
So, second question asks, what does poor sexual health look at for men and for women? That's the first part of it. And how does it impact people of color differently?
Yeah, let's go. Good question, bro.
Dr. Sanchez, you want to take the lead on that one?
Sure. I mean, I think it was even Goody, like your sentence on, you were saying like how you can connect back like school shootings, gun violence, right, to sexual health or lack of sex education, etc. When I think of this question and I hear it, for sexual health, it's not, yes, of course, we can put at the forefront, right? Lack of testing, and then measure what does the accessibility look like, right? Or the inability to have a mature conversation about when is the last time that you got tested? Do you know your status is? It's not just HIV status. right? You know, can we pause before we have sex and talk about, are you wanting to have kids right now? What does birth control look like, right? Having those conversations. So then we can start to explore maybe what does pleasure, consent, and all of that feel like. But when I think of this question, I think of what can we even discuss what poor sexual health looks like if we live in a society that, especially for Black and brown folks, where violence is always, we wake up to it every single day, all forms of violence, right? And so like I think that I highlight in the definition of my sexual health, until we live in a society where we're free from all forms of violence, any form is going to directly impact our sexual health, right? So what does poor sexual health look like? I can give you the basics of inability to communicate and talk about the number of sexual partners you are fucking right now. When's the last time you got, your testing, all these other things. But then we can't let go of that bigger picture, right? Of the gun violence, the sexual assaults, the racism, the discrimination, the, food insecurity, housing insecurity, not having transportation, education, all of it. So yeah, I'm gonna start it with there, and Goody, I'm sure, is gonna come in and end it with a bang.
Listen. I feel like, reproductive justice and rights.
Yes,
it's absolutely that. It's the right to have children or not, and to raise them in a safe environment if you choose to. Which safe environment, it goes into the education structure, the prison industrial complex, all of those things. When you're talking about sexual health for men, sexual health for people with penises is outlandish. Do you hear me? Because a lot of men feel like if their partner doesn't test for, STIs, that if their partner tests non-reactive for STIs, then they're good. Right. Yep. But what a lot of people don't understand is when you go get tested for STIs, you have to get tested in your mouth, your anus, and your genitals.
Yep.
Because gonorrhea and strep are play cousins, and your genitals may be non-reactive, but that throat could be thriving and surviving. Do you hear me? So we don't understand that those things take place. And then for people with penises, I think, especially people with intact penises, okay, a little applied linguistics here. We don't say circumcised and uncircumcised in my presence, because I'll correct you every time. Uncircumcised implies that it's supposed to be circumcised. And that is not the way it applies in nature. It's not the way it comes out the chute, okay? And a lot of times there was a lot of propaganda around an intact penis is not as clean. So that's that sexual health component. We're socialized in Western culture that, that is a common cultural practice to circumcise the penis. It's not a common culture to circumcise the clitoris in Western culture, but it is a common practice to circumcise the clitoris on the continent. Okay. And we want to call that female genital mutilation. Why don't we call it male genital mutilation?
Right. Yep.
That's what the fuck it is. And there are grown men that are getting circumcised as adults because of the way their partners are reacting to their intact penises. To be an adult man and get circumcised, you have to have a psych evaluation.
Really?
You have to be on Depo-Provera for 90 days, which is a estrogen-based hormone, to keep you from getting an erection so you don't break your stitches. Wow. And I'm gonna tell you something, for the people that have sex with people with penises, if you're fucking dick and you're watching this, once you can start getting you some international dick, it's gonna have foreskin. So get your life together. Y'all want to get flued out. Once you fly over that water, there's foreskin. Okay. So understand that sexual health also looks like accepting the penis that was brought to the party.
Yes. Yes.
So if it has a foreskin, all you gotta do is put a little ring and pull it down, and the penis will be exposed. Okay. Also, people want to say, oh, it's not as sanitary, it's not as clean. If you're taught how to do it, it's great. I actually have a 3-foot tall crochet dick that I'm gonna do it has foreskin. I made the lady that crochets and put a foreskin on it. She'd never done it before. And I'm gonna do a video on how to clean the penis. I feel like if it's a stuffed penis and it's 3 feet tall, they can't take it off social media because it's obviously stuffed. It's not a real dick, right?
Right.
But we don't understand that the vulva has a clitoris. The clitoris has a hood. So there's a foreskin on the clitoris too. So if y'all worried about the penis foreskin, okay? When was the last time you cleaned under your hood?
Okay.
Ouchie.
Let's go. Go.
And then we say, with the vulva, clean it with water. What I tell people is, because people are like, no ma'am, no God, not just water. First of all, I live in Texas, and in the summertime, I'm not just using water. But what I'm telling you is, my rule of thumb is, if it can grow hair, you could use soap there. So the outside of the vulva, not the inside, not between the lips, the outside, right? People don't get that. We don't know what the difference between a vulva and a vagina. The vulva is the outside. It's the pussy. It's the part you see. The vagina is the inside where babies come out and menstruation comes out. I think that sexual health for men should include sexual health and reproductive health and menstruation for people without penises.
Mhm.
If you have a penis and you fucking a vagina, you need to understand how menstruation works. You need to understand how pregnancy works. Now in the schools, if you get sex ed, because again, I'm in Texas, if you get sex ed, they split the class with the girls and the boys. Oh,
Nope.
yeah. But y'all need to know, because my son is 19 and I wish the fuck he's having sex. Okay, he's sexually active. And I wish he would have sex with a girl on Monday and she tell him Tuesday she's pregnant and he think it's his. I'm gonna burn everything in this.
Hey,
I'm
tell
gonna
the
burn
devil
it
is a
down.
lie, ain't it?
You see what I'm saying? But a lot of men don't know how reproduction works, and so they believe that.
Yeah, right.
They don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Menstruation. You need that's the cheat code right there. If you know how to manage menstruation, help your partner manage menstruation.
Mm-hmm.
Them is boyfriend points right there.
Right.
You trying to get some stuff, you trying to get them to do some shit you know they don't want to do. Have the chocolate and the heating pad and the tea and stuff ready for them.
Man.
And don't act like just because they bleed, they're not a human until they're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when I think sexual health, I'm thinking more holistically than just hygiene. And I think that we don't understand that STIs, again, the several locations of STIs and how they can live and how they can thrive, and also like what's out there to help people prevent, because going raw is the new promise ring.
That is.
So what a God. We go together because it's raw. Get the fuck. I've been married 10 years. It'll be 10 years on New Year's Eve. We didn't stop using condoms until we decided to have a baby. We was married and using condoms because I get extra strokes with the condom on. It's a quicker cleanup. And what the fellas don't realize is when you have sex with a insertive enveloping sex, be it anal or vaginal, and you shoot up the club, okay, you can get up and rinse off and go about your day, but we're leaking for at least 24 to 48 hours. Do you hear me? We go through that. It doesn't smell the best. Your pH is fucked up for a little while because of the semen, okay? So your pH is off. You're leaking. You're not feeling the most confident below the waist because you love somebody.
Right.
Y'all don't care what we go through. Y'all just shoot up the club and go. But if we having condom sex, we have more sex because I'm more confident in what I'm giving away, because we can both have morning sex and get up and shower and go.
So let me ask you this question real quick then. And I know our audience is dying because I'm seeing the chat and people blowing me up on text message.
It's funny. The chat is funny.
Man, hey. So let me ask you this question then. So like, what would you two really consider good practices of sexual health? Because society or other people be like, oh man, I'm making this woman come, orgasm, so many different times, right? Or vice versa, right? Exactly, you're right. And so like people say, oh well, we got the best, sexual relationship. Like I'm good, right? But what does really good sexual health look like in a relationship?
Communication.
Ooh, they're not ready. They're not ready. Más despacio, doctora. They're not ready.
Right. I mean, I think that when I hear that question right away, I'm like, communication. I think it's very, as a therapist, there's a lot of times when I sit down with one's significant other or partner, however they are within the relationship, and they so like, when's the last time your partner heard you say all that? Right? Like I'm your therapist, or I'm in a friend, hat or whatever. But when's the last time that your partner heard you say that? Right. The needs, the wants that you just described to me, the reason why you're stepping out of your relationship. Does that person even know what you have just told me? Right. And I think, and talking about COVID, talking about the social media that we live in, people can barely communicate anymore because everyone lives behind a damn screen.
Facts.
And so when it comes to having mature adult conversations, and mind you, Goody, thank you for talking about, just because we fucking raw, right, doesn't mean anything. But we're missing all of the important communication and conversations that needs to be happening before, right, we're even getting to explore one another's body, but it doesn't exist anymore. And so yeah, when I think right away at the forefront, right, that communication piece, and going back to what Goody's talking about, learning a person's desires, their wants, their needs, and not just in the bedroom, everything that also exists outside the bedroom, because I'm not going to want to fuck you every day either.
Come on.
Can we talk about the importance of what it means when I go and I do 6 hours worth of sessions and take on people's trauma, and what type of space I need from the time that I get into the car after work and before I walk through that door? What type of what does your support look like for me in that moment? And what do I need from you, right? So I can be present with you, and move forward. And I'm checking in with you, right? Because please believe, for me, I need that in order to be even more attracted to you. The fact that you created that space for me, by the end of the night, I'm more than likely I'm going to want to give it up.
Yeah.
Because you are supporting me in other areas that absolutely bring me pleasure. Because just like Goody was saying, pleasure, what'd you say, Goody? Excitement
and joy.
Thank you. Excitement and joy. And there's a lot of things that provide me excitement and joy. Food, first and foremost, music, right?
HGTV.
Skin
Right.
hunger.
What'd you say, HGTV?
That's how I unwind. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's no drama. Something is beautiful at the end, and people are happy.
Yes.
That's how I feel about anime, man.
But
so yeah,
I
would say but Goody, take it away, girl.
No, listen, communication is ill as fuck, because like intimacy is what happens when you're not having sex.
Listen.
And I think we've lost that skill set.
Yep.
The communication is not just verbal. Like I said, HGTV is my love language. Like, for real, I'm not even playing with y'all. Like, when I'm having a bad day, I say my partner. I'm married. I'm legally married. I have a husband, but I say partner because a husband is a liability and a partner.
She got muted.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, someone muted me.
I think it
muted
everything.
Yeah, muted me too. Quit pushing buttons.
Ain't nobody doing that but Dantrayl.
Dantrayl, quit pushing buttons, because I'm coming to
My
Memphis
bad.
in January and we could box.
Hey, come on.
So I think that what I was saying was, like, my partner knows I've had a bad day because, like I said, we are legally married. He's my husband, but I have a partner because the husband is a liability. He knows when I'm having a bad day. He sends me videos of houses and, shoes that he know I'm like, or like, things like that, because he knows that's what soothes me. You know what I'm saying? And so that part, the fact that I have an amazing emotional support, makes me want to bust it open. You see what I'm saying? I'm cute in real life. Okay. Instagram is not how I meet people. Okay.
Right.
Sex is easy. What else you got?
Right.
Because back when I was pimping, it was nothing. Okay. Sex is easy. I want to know what else is going on. And I think that's a lost art. So that communication is
I agree.
big. And when I think of sexual health, like, I'm thinking that was a sexual pleasure thing. When I think of sexual health, I think people don't drink enough water. Because arousal is blood flow.
Yep.
And when you're properly hydrated, if you have a penis, that improves erection quality, because sometimes it's a pickle, sometimes it's a brick. Okay. When you're properly hydrated, it's more likely to be a brick than a pickle. Okay. Right. I think that, it helps with again, for the people with penises, it helps with ejaculate texture, because cum should be the texture of spit, not snot. Okay. Do a favor for the person that's sucking your dick and drink more water, because no one wants that. Okay. It helps with stamina. It helps with the refractory period. The space between round 1 and round 2 is shorter when you're properly hydrated. It's easier to get that thing to thangin'. For people with vulvas, you get wetter when you're properly hydrated. If you're not a squirter, you can become one. If you are a squirter, you'll squirt more. It helps with clitoral erection quality. It helps with stamina. It helps with general health. You can sleep better. Your vision is improved. You can focus better. A dehydrated brain functions as a depressed brain. Okay. And my favorite benefit of being properly hydrated is your orgasms are stronger, because orgasms are muscle contractions. And when you're properly hydrated, your muscles are at peak function. So those peak function muscles tighten and squeeze differently than, like, this is your regular orgasm. This is your hydrated orgasm. So I'm not saying the sex you're having now is whack. I'm just saying it could be better.
Hey, I think everybody, if we can see them, they run into their refrigerator getting water bottles.
Man,
Water. Okay,
hey,
we
facts,
drink at
man.
least 35 gallons of water a week in my house.
Yeah, I was like, water is not an issue over here.
Yeah, it's not a thing. But stretching, making sure your general health is cool. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I teach skill building workshops. I teach a class called Rideology, which is exactly what it sounds like.
I've taken it.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Yes.
How do you feel about it? How you feel about it?
I loved it.
You're not riding dick the same way.
Come on now. Come on now.
Riding dick you was before, like you were before, are you?
Exactly. I improved because of you.
Thank you so much. I teach strokeology for people with penises and people that wear dildos. I teach a oral sex on the penis class and an oral sex on the vulva class. You know what I'm saying? I teach these skills, and people think, oh, I don't need that. If you learn at least one thing, which you will, if you learn at least one thing,
right,
it's going to make you more confident, because confidence is the ultimate sexy.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that translates to your sexual health, because when you're confident in what you know, you ain't trying to cast pearls among swine.
Listen.
And this is for the fellas too, because y'all out here wasting dick on people too. I don't care about your knees, Grace. You do not need good knees or good back for this. If I'm a cheerleader, okay? I have bad knees and a bad back. Trust me.
Not a bad back. Not a bad back.
I do, because in cheerleader, I'm the base, honey. I was picking up. Them little girls are little, but they heavy. Okay? They muscle. Them hoes are heavy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think that, and it's not about your knees and your back. It's about, I took into consideration your knees, your back, your range of motion, the size of the person on top, the size of the person on bottom, and the size of the penis or dildo in play. I got you. Right. I teach this workshop to the women and girlfriends of people with spinal cord injuries, because they're always on top.
And Goody, like with your classes, I want to normalize too, because I'd be talking about this in sessions on like making like a sex goals list for yourself first. If you are in a partnership or multiple, doing your thing, cool. But first for yourself, like what are your sex goals, right? And if you are in a partnership with someone, then what does that conversation look like together? What are things that you want to, what is the sex goals bucket list? And we, with the new year around the corner, literally, everyone talks about their vision boards. I mean, we should all expect, as women, as a woman with a vulva, I will make my yearly annual, my pussy pleasure board, and what is 2023 bringing for some pussy pleasure in my life.
And you have to do it, because your orgasm is your responsibility.
Exactly. What you will and will not, I don't want to say tolerate, that's a word, but the expectations, the confidence, like you were saying, in the bedroom.
It's a thing though, because when you talk about like pleasure, right? One thing about my class is I center the pleasure of the person performing that act.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, if you have not reached orgasm from performing oral sex, your life is incomplete. That's for y'all too. From performing oral sex, your life is incomplete. Because if you don't enjoy it, why are you doing it?
Thank you.
Right.
And so my goal is to help people enjoy the behaviors and the sexual acts that they're performing, so that they'll do it more. They'll feel empowered. They'll feel strong and attracted and confident.
Yep.
Okay. About what they're doing, who they are, and who they fucking on. Because if you don't have that, you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing, because that shit permeates, your sexual confidence permeates every other kind of confidence you have. And you walk different and talk different when you enjoy the sex you're having with yourself or with another partner. So to me, that's what sexual health look like.
Love it.
Hey Larry, let's go to this chat, man. I know folks are chiming in and comments are blowing up, man. So let's see what people's questions.
I bet y'all won't have to count down today.
I know that's right.
All right. So do we have anyone that has a question for our panelists? Oh, maybe
I have a question for y'all while we waiting.
Somebody about to come in.
What is squirt pee?
Hell yeah.
See, that's why we will always have a job, Doctora. That's why we will always have a job.
Larry, I tried to help you. I was.
What the hell, sir? Why can't a penis come and pee from the same hole, but a vagina can't?
Huh? What you talking about?
You come and pee out the same hole, don't you?
Right.
So why can't we?
Yep.
You can.
Show can.
You just said science is pee. You just said squirt is pee.
I ain't say that.
You did.
No, I
You're gonna run
didn't.
that beautiful bean footage. Run that playback.
Let me rewind this real quick. That wasn't me.
It was you. I watched you.
It wasn't. See, it looks
It's
like I'm
not
talking,
pink.
but it wasn't me.
It's now it can be discolored if you're not drinking enough water. So if it's not clear, that's your fault. Okay, but it's not pink. And
We ain't
we
talking
have
about me.
the
What's
science,
the
the science and whole shit, science and whole shit of it all, right? Because I teach doctors about
Hey,
this.
that's on my Christmas list.
There are only two medical books that even include the clitoris.
Oh,
Okay.
so we do have one question.
Okay.
Hey, that's
I
on my
guess
Christmas list.
MJ, do you want to? Oh, she driving. She said, "Can all women squirt?"
Okay. So I am of the school of thought that all women that were assigned female at birth have the physical capability to squirt. Which means, but we all have the physical capability to have six packs because we all have abdominal muscles, but we don't all have six packs. So that shit takes intention and focus. But I think every woman that was assigned female at birth has the physical capability to squirt.
All right. Second question, Ms. Magruder, you want to come in?
Larry, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Goody, can you keep going a little bit though, because of the way pornography shows us, and usually most of the films, right, especially when it's being filmed by a male-centric lens, so a male person on the other side of that camera, we see, right, in porn all too often that this squirting is this huge waterfall type. And so when I'm having conversations with women and they're feeling like their squirt or they're attempting to squirt is not living up to that, right? Pornography is a great educational tool to get a lot of conversations started, to even learn about possibly your body and everything. But there's a lot of downfalls with it as well.
It's entertainment.
Right. And a lot of women are squirting. Right. It's just not what they've seen on porn. So Goody, can you keep that going? Because I feel like I do a lot of affirmations for women on like, no, sis, you probably actually are squirting. Yeah. It's just not what you and your man probably watch on a pornography.
Yeah, y'all not,
right?
you don't have the money shot.
Break that down.
Yeah, absolutely. So hydration matters. Okay. Being connected to your pleasure and not in your head matters. Being relaxed, feeling safe, feeling affirmed, feeling seen matters. Pleasure matters. Feeling good matters. Okay. But it looks different for everyone. Just like some men don't all people, some penises don't all just ejaculate. Sometimes it just run out like a fondue, right? Sometimes it's not up, you know what I'm saying? Same thing for us. And so what happens is a lot of porn performers are investing in their bodies. They're getting G-shots, which is a saline implant behind the G-spot to make it more accessible and easy to hit. They're always staying properly hydrated. It's gallons of water on set. And so they're kind of cheating the system, as it were, and they're pushing down. Once you get comfortable with that sensation of what a squirting orgasm feels like for you and you bear down, you can shoot across the room too. But who gonna clean that shit up?
Right.
You. Right. So do it at a hotel and just tip the I leave $20 when I go to hotels and I'm fucking. We just gonna leave $20 in a thank you note because no, I'm not cleaning that shit up.
You are too funny to me.
Thank you, Goody. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have two other questions, but Ms. Magruder, I saw your hand up. Do you have a question?
I do. Just a real quick question. Thank you all so much. Goody and Dr. Sanchez, love the Lord, he heard my cry. Husband believes that as well, but maybe a whole lot where sometimes curious about how you feel about what we can do for partners who might not be as liberated sexually and trying to have that conversation.
What you trying to have the conversation of?
Ooh, we're gonna get on a different talk on that one. But just in general, as far as Christianity plays into what we're doing and things that I want to do versus someone who might be a little bit more not as liberated is what I want.
Okay, I'm gonna let Dr. have this one. I'm just gonna suggest though, because it depends on what you're talking about. Now you can't just sneak up on nobody's asshole. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are conversations that you have upright with clothes.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Okay, that'll get you punched in the face, and it might be deserved because consent is key. If you want something like like nipple play, like a great way to kind of start is like nipple play. Now most men don't ask for nipple play, although it feels amazing because nipples are feminized in our culture. I say you can go ahead and try that. They're not gonna ask for it, but they're not gonna stop you. Now, if you want some anal play or you want something like that, I say get some media or something or a movie where they're doing that, and then just ask them how he feel about it. to kind of start the conversation. Also, there are lots of those conversation starter cards and stuff like that. One of our colleagues, not gonna say doctor, she's not doctor yet. She's not doctor yet. Sexologist Shamira has some use your mouth conversation cards, and it's centered on pleasure and exploring what that looks like for you. Professor Sky Wind has a card game called Hedonism and Debauchery. Those are two really good ones that'll help get that conversation going. And you can act like you're gonna play the game and look at all the cards first and load the deck on the shit you want to know.
I like that. I think too, right? Like you saying, Goody, like very, like we don't know enough context, right? We're kind of tiptoe, but I hear again that religion script coming up that we heard way at the beginning.
She led with that.
Right, of this conversation. And so with that, you know, if, you know, like I think really breaking down, you could do like a little sex goals activity independently of one another, right? And then come together and be like, hey, what's yours say? And this is what mine says, right? But because you did bring in that Christianity piece, if you or your, you know, him couples or individual therapy with a sex therapist, in order for that sex therapist to really start to break down those narratives that are centering that Christianity piece of religion, and to start figuring out where is the shame, where is the guilt hiding, where maybe he is possibly suffering in silence, because that's how shame and guilt thrive. And you know, Goody, you did something with the booty hole comment, right? And talk about masculinity and cisgender men, and don't get me started on what that could possibly mean. But maybe there is some actual feelings there, but not knowing how to essentially be like, am I gay, right? We hear that microaggression a lot, form of violence towards our gay siblings. But also for our heterosexual cis men, and normalizing enjoying booty play. Curve endings down there.
Yes, booty play is just booty play. It's not gay until you a dude and you look at another dude and go, he could get it. Gay is attraction. Gay is attraction. And another thing too, what you said, it really sparked something for me. And I think I just fucking lost it that fast. The sex therapist. So there are two sex therapists specifically that I know of that are Christian sexologists. One is Brittany Broaddus Smith. She runs the Intimacy firm. She's based out of Philly, but she can definitely support you. And another one is Lee Blaylock, and she's out of St. Louis, and she runs Sankofa Sex. They are both Black Christian sexologists and can help you navigate the shame and the stigma and all of the things. Brittany likes to say that she's the 101 and I'm the 201, because I am not a Christian. I am churched, but I am not a Christian. And so you need someone that has your same belief system to help guide you through some of that, because it is culturally specific. But those are two people that I'm sure, at least if they can't help you, they got a worksheet or a book or a guide or a video that can get you through.
For sure. And Carla, I just want to add in too, just in case maybe therapy isn't an option right now, right? Just because of whatever situation or decision, but look up sensate focus therapy. It's a great form of therapy that sex therapists use, because it takes all attention off genitalia. It is literally a therapy that we implement, and I implemented a lot for my trauma survivors on how to reconnect with the body, mind, spirit, all of it, but with taking all pressure off of genitalia. So you and your partner, and anyone can Google this right now and literally get sensate focus body mapping exercises right online with your partner. Set the mood, whatever that looks like for you in your house and with the intimacy, right, or the bedroom, and just reconnect with the body and feeling and bringing different objects in to feel different textures on your body. But again, avoiding all genitalia, and to just see how your bodies get aroused with one another being present. So just wanted to throw that out there too, just in case therapy is not an option right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so real fast, we have like 3 or 4 questions, and I'm gonna read them real fast, and let's see if we can answer them real fast. How do you see proper sex education being implemented in communities that are traditionally deprived of critical resources?
They got to be open to it. I do the shit, but I can't get in a school with a condom.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I do off-site team building for teens and young adults, and you can find us and book us, and we will come. I do sex therapy. Not sex therapy, Lord bless you, doctor, because you do that. I'm not therapy. I'm a macro practice kind of bitch. But I do like sex trivia and things like that, and fun date night things. We package it as fun for peer influencers, because then when y'all have those conversations, you're equipped to to have those conversations from a harm reductive perspective.
Yeah. And also vote. We don't think about vote because what the vote for the school boards, the people that we're putting in for the school boards are the ones that are regulating the curriculum. Me, Larry, Goody, we're all in Texas. I know exactly how it works with our sex education here. And until we start voting these people out and getting people that are up to date with pleasure and consent and sex positive curriculum that's going to empower our youth, we're going to keep doing the same shit every single year.
Yep.
Second one, what are your thoughts on tantric sex between two females?
I don't understand the question.
MJ, you want to come on and ask the question?
Tantric sex is about exchange of energy, and energy doesn't matter. Like the energy of the two people, regardless of if they identify as male or female or whatever. Tantric sex is an amazing spiritual, energetic exchange. And I think that if the people involved are connected to each other in some way, it's going to be amazing. If they're not, it's not. It doesn't matter, you know, if they're male or female. Maybe that's why I didn't understand the question.
Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about monogamy? Does monogamy enhances or deprive sexuality?
Ooh, that's a loaded one. Okay, Cuzzo.
Come on, Dr. Sanchez.
I feel like this is like a to each their own. I'm going to start with that, right? Because there are people that are very happy in their monogamous relationships, and then I have a whole community that is just as happy, if not happier, in their non-monogamy in the way that shows up for them and how they practice that. I will say, as humans, we are not built to be monogamous creatures, and that is why being in partnerships and Goody, congratulations, girl, 10 years, like I love it for you, right? But I sure, right, and I can easily assume, right, for anyone else that is in a partnership or has even been in a 1 year, 2 year, it is a constant every day you are showing up to put in work, right? And so yeah, I'm going to say to each their own, whatever makes you happy, because I feel like there's a lot of people that could be fulfilled, and there's a lot of people that go the non-monogamy route and they are fulfilled.
Yeah, and I think there's also levels to this shit too, right? There's so much gray area between a monogamous partnership and a polyamorous partnership, and so it looks very different for different people, and they have, you know, understandings and arrangements and agreements and all of those things. So yeah, but I think that when the question is, does it stifle or deprive sexuality? I think it depends on the sexuality in question. If it's a monogamous partner, I mean, not a monogamous partnership, a heterosexual partnership, and you are pansexual, you know what I'm saying? Like your girl, you know what I'm saying? If you are a queer person in a heterosexual relationship, it may stifle your sexuality. So you may need to have conversations and bring in, you know, other partners or other accessories or other understandings or what have you to make sure that everyone's needs are met. But that's not to say that a queer person can't be in a monogamous relationship, because like when people hear, oh, somebody's bi, they automatically think threesome. And that's not the case. I personally am not bi. I'm pansexual, which means I'm attracted to all people. We will figure the genitals out later, honey, because I'm not scared of anything. But I'm attracted to the human being, right? And so that does not take away from the fact that I can exist in a monogamous relationship when it's time for that or when it's not. So I think that it's really about being true to yourself and exploring what you really want, desire, and need. Figure out what happy looks like for you, because a lot of people don't even know what happy looks like for them, what balance, what joy looks like for them. So it can stifle your sexuality if your sexuality is something other than what you're practicing in your relationship. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be happy or that you can't be balanced. But you got to figure out what works for you. And sometimes you need professional guidance, like me and Dr. Sanchez, to help you get there.
Yes.
Love it. Man.
Hey, I think we had somebody had a hand up, brother.
We had two people that had their hand up.
Bobby Hill.
Bobby Hill.
Is he on? Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Trill. Hey, first of all, ladies, man, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Man, look here. First of all, I want to say I appreciate y'all for coming on, man. This is such a taboo topic, man. So first of all, I want to say I appreciate y'all for coming on board. So my first question was, and then I sent you the other two questions, but man, do y'all have a book, seminar, or something like that? Man, I need that ready. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, Hey, my buddy know I done pulled over on the side of the road. I got
Yes, you gotta focus.
Hey, look here. Hey, Dantrayl, check your bro. Hey, I got about 8 gallons of water right now, bro. Do you hear me?
Hey,
Bro.
oh, let me pull this
It's
up.
gonna change your life.
Hey, pull it up.
And
Hey,
the beard gonna be even more
look at that.
luxurious too. You
Yes,
hear me?
good.
Don't worry.
I was like the beard and the skin.
The beard and the skin is gonna be popping as well. Just know.
Bruh, do you see it? Like you just
When you
say
see that, but
everything.
listen, that alkaline water, Bobby, you want to cut that with spring water or something too. You can't just drink alkaline water.
Right.
Man, look here. I'm glad you said that because I drink about 10 of those a week, man. So I'm glad you said that.
Just cut it with some regular. Just cut it. It's just.
Goody. Say less. Say less. Hey, but say, let me get my face off here. But yeah, my question is, here's my question. I was concerned about like if a person's lack of intimacy, comfort level experience, can that be transferred to one partner from another partner?
What you mean the lack of? Like if they have a lower sex drive, can you catch it?
Yes. Like,
Yeah, you can catch it.
Say it like it's the flu.
It's habits.
Hey,
It's
it's
habits.
like COVID. Damn.
Yeah, it's
like
habits.
COVID.
So if your partner has a lower sex drive, it tends like habitually, you are what you repeat. And so yes, if they have a lower sex drive and y'all are engaging in sex less, then your sex drive may go down as well. But also you have to understand that just because if your sex drive is higher, that doesn't mean that you're going to get more sex just because you want more sex. I tell people that self pleasure is the key. You know what I'm saying? Because if you masturbate, if the higher person's sex drive is an 8 and the lower person's sex drive is a 4, the higher person is masturbating. That's buffering the sex they not getting. That bring them to about a 6. The 4 is masturbating. That's going to encourage their sex drive because you practice how you play, and that's going to bring them up to about a 6. And now y'all are both at about a 6. But you have to understand that that doesn't entitle you to more sex. It doesn't entitle them to less sex. It's all about like what Dr. Sanchez was talking about. It's communication.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I would add into, right, like with the lower sex drive, like what else is happening in life, right? Are they taking SSRIs for battling depression? Because that's going to be a direct impact on libido.
Birth control.
Is birth control, is employment stressful, right? What are finances? I mean, like all of that impacts one's ability to essentially, right, maybe feel in the moment and get ready. So yeah, I would also just put that out there.
And lower libido is a thing. So it may not be nothing wrong. It may not be nothing about their attraction to you or any of that. That's just how they built.
Yep.
Man, look here. Okay.
We got 1 minute left. Do we want to let the other person ask the question, Trayl?
Man, it's your call, brother. I got the quote ready.
Okay. Last call for a question. All right, go ahead.
All right, so the quote I got for us today comes from a gentleman by the name of Bob Earns. And so he says, looking at the impact of health on sexual activity and satisfaction as we age is important. Health can affect an individual's sex life in various ways, from having or finding a partner to physical and psychological limitations on sexual expression.
Man. Yep. Hey, you say that spring water is best, huh?
Yes. Ozarka to be specific, but I mean, they not writing your girl a check, so.
Hey, I feel you.
My bachelor's is in business. If it ain't, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I don't have a check, so.
Well, thank y'all both for being here. This has been, I would say, one of the more enjoyable sessions. And this chat is blowing up like crazy. So thank y'all for being here. Thank you, audience, for being in attendance and constantly supporting us. We appreciate it. Wait, somebody got a question after the quote.
Can I request a part 2? Can we get a spring?
Put your stuff in the chat. That's gonna put your Instagram and your website in the chat because people are asking.
Trayl, you want to do a part 2?
Hey, tell everybody, tune in next week because next week we're gonna do a reflection. Hey, Hey, tell everybody, no, seriously. Hey, tune in next week because Larry and I'll be on, and that's where we'll ask the audience to give us feedback about all the episodes that we've done, and also an opportunity for people to just say, hey, I love this episode, want to know more about it. Can you talk about it more? So next week is the time where you all give us feedback on what more episodes you would like to see us do, so we can get everything ready to launch for springtime. So make sure y'all tune in next week.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, let the church say amen. We appreciate y'all for being here
Appreciate
today.
y'all, ladies.
Of course.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Y'all have a great Monday.